Joe Schoen and the New York Football Giants continue to shuffle the back end of this roster as well as the practice squad as we are Eli Manning days away from Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. I am ready for week one. In today's video, we're going to recap all 4 roster moves or practice squad roster moves that the Giants made today. Also, we got to talk about Saquon Barkley a little bit because even myself and the people I'm seeing out on the internet are somewhat sleeping on what he can do this year, and I'm excited to talk about it. But first, make sure you are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We are in an August subscriber battle here inside the walls at the Chat Sports studios, and we're going up against some NFC East rival channels. And right now, we're getting our butts kicked by the Eagles and the Cowboys. And I'm not trying to lose in subs. I'm not trying to lose week one. So help Giants Now become the biggest channel in the NFC East here at Chat Sports. Click that sub button and get free videos every day on Big Blue. Let's start it off with the players that the Giants are moving on from. Tyre Phillips, offensive tackle for the Giants. He was on the active roster last year, started 5 games in the place of Evan Neal when he was dealing with some injuries. He is no longer on this team, and he has been released from the practice squad. A little bit of an interesting development, in my opinion, because how do you go from being somewhat of a decent plug-and-play player at that right tackle spot for 5 games last year, and you don't even make the active roster the following year? I think it's injuries. That's the only thing I can wrap my mind around. I remember Brian Dable said he just wasn't healthy enough to play in that final preseason game against the New York Jets. So I would have to assume that it's injuries are the reason that Tyre Phillips is no longer a part of this organization. The Giants also said goodbye to a rookie UDFA corner, Gemon Green, out of the University of Michigan. They have moved on from him. He is no longer going to be on this practice squad. Some people hit me up on Twitter and are like, Marshall, why did the Giants add Gemon Green and Tyre Phillips to the practice squad if they literally were going to cut them less than 24 hours later? I thought my man Art Stapleton, beat reporter for the Giants, mapped it out pretty well. He said, quote, "My guess is that the Giants wanted Hayes and Thomas, but couldn't get them here in time to practice yesterday and today. So Phillips and Green were in the area, signed so they had bodies to practice, and then made moves when the guys from outside the organization could make it to New Jersey and practice." Makes some sense. I understand that. If that's the reason, I don't have any beef with that. I do feel bad, though, for Phillips and Green. I thought they were in the clear, and a couple days later, they were literally a day later, they were released from this team. The 2 guys the Giants signed, let's talk about them. Jalin Thomas. The Giants are signing Thomas to the practice squad. He's a UDFA offensive lineman from SMU, and he spent training camp in the preseason with the Baltimore Ravens. I talked with our Ravens host here at Chat Sports, Tyler Jones, and I asked him about Thomas, and he told me he was actually decent for them in training camp as well as in the preseason. He just said that they were kind of stacked at the offensive tackle position, and it sounded like he thinks an opportunity could be had at an easier route with the Giants than it was with the Ravens. So the guy is 6'3", 304 pounds, just coming out of college. I think it's safe to say that not only am I worried about this offensive line, Joe Schoen is as well. Remember, they signed Jalen Mayfield this morning to the practice squad. They now signed Jalin Thomas to the practice squad. So that's 2 players, 2 offensive linemen with youth and maybe some potential added to the P squad to maybe one day be called up to the active roster. From Thomas to Hayes, Kaleb Hayes, the Giants are also signing him to their P squad. UDFA cornerback from BYU and played for the Jacksonville Jaguars in training camp as well as in the preseason. Art Stapleton, who we talked about earlier, he tweeted out on Twitter that, quote, Hayes impressed some people with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's good. You want to hear that. Obviously not too impressed because they ended up cutting him from the active roster. I wonder if he chose playing for the Giants practice squad over the Jags practice squad. Giants are somewhat thin at the outside corner spot. And Hayes, he's at least an extremely athletic prospect. You look at what he did at the NFL Combine, coming in at 5'11", about 196 pounds, had a 40-inch vertical, one of the highest at the Combine, ran a 4.3 40. So he is an athletic freak. And you've kind of seen the makeover of this football team in year 2 of Joe Schoen. They want to become more athletic. They want to become faster, and they want to be more of a sideline-to-sideline defense. And when you have guys that run 4-3s, that's going to help you out. Hayes is the newest member of this P squad. So let's go through all 16 players that are on the practice squad. We talked about Jalen Mayfield and Taiwan Jones earlier this morning. You know, Tommy DeVito's there. Good for him. Supposedly had some interest from the Patriots to potentially go to their practice squad, but he elected to stay with the New York Football Giants. Cole Beasley is on the practice squad for now, as he's still dealing with a quad injury. Darian Beavers, surprising cut from the 53, finds himself back with this organization, as well as O'Shane Zimenez, Tom and Fox. Then they steal a player from the Cowboys and Dennis Houston. They steal a player from the Eagles and Tyree Jackson. They brought back Jalen Thomas, Amani Oruwariye, Deontay Johnson, Ryder Anderson, Kaleb Hayes, Alex Cook, and now Ryan Jones. So that is the 16 players on this practice squad. You might say to yourself, Marshall, why do you keep updating us about the practice squad? I would respond to that with, did you watch last season? How many times did the Giants sign players to the practice squad and then call them up to the active roster, and they made an impact for this team? Joe Schoen got the absolute most out of the game day call-ups last year from the P squad, and I don't expect that to change this year, especially with the Giants once again right up against the salary cap. Expect for the practice squad to be a very strong resource for Joe and Brian Dable to use this year for game day call-ups and to manipulate the cap and this roster. We're going to talk about Saquon Barkley in a second, but here at Chat Sports, we have multiple channels. We told you about that. And my guy Mitchell Renz, the host of the Raiders Report, is getting a Raiders tattoo on his leg. And if you want to watch it, the link will be down in the comments section. This is what the thumbnail looks like. If you want to go find it, just type in Raiders Report on YouTube or click the link in the comments section right now. I also want to say this. Happy damn birthday to my man TC, Tom Coughlin. It is Tom Coughlin's birthday today, and it is an absolute joke that he was not inducted into the National Football League Hall of Fame. I think he is one of, I don't know the exact number, but it's less than 15. One of less than 15 coaches in the NFL history to have two or more Super Bowl trophies. He's one of the best coaches in Giants history. He's one of the best coaches in NFL history. Show our guy Tom Coughlin some love. Type HBD in the comment section and wish him a happy birthday right now. Let's close out today's video talking about Saquon Barkley, because I was talking with my pops the other day, and he was like, this offense is kind of fun. And it is fun. We have a lot of speed. You got Waller, one of the fastest tight ends in the league. Parris Campbell's a 4.3 guy. Jalin Hyatt, super fast. Wan'Dale Robinson is fast. Darius Slayton is fast. Saquon Barkley is pretty fast too. Are we sleeping on Saquon Barkley this season? I'll say this. The Giants should and will face lighter boxes this year, because when you have the speed and the playmakers that the Giants do, you can't just have all your eyeballs at all times on number 26. Because let's say the Giants trot out a personnel package of Darren Waller, Darius Slayton, Parris Campbell, and Jalin Hyatt with Saquon Barkley in the backfield. You can't put 6, 7, 8 people in the box. You got to go into a too-high safety look, and that's going to open up running lanes for Saquon Barkley. You can't just focus on 26 anymore. You used to be able to do that when you had David Sills at the wide receiver position. You used to be able to do that when you had Marcus Johnson and Kenny Golladay and hurt bum hamstring Kadarius Toney. You can't do that anymore with the way the Giants roster is looking. I'm hyped up about that. I'm not going to be shocked if Barkley has his best season in the National Football League this year, playing on pretty much the franchise tag, a prove-it deal. I know he's not happy about that, and the best way for him to secure the bag is have a great season. And if he stays healthy, I think this could be the best one of his young NFL career. Show the running back some love. Show Saquon Barkley some love. Type 26, his jersey number, down in the comment section if you're riding with our guy, Saquon Barkley. As always, just want to say thank you, and I appreciate everybody that tunes into Giants Now. Video number 2 of the day, and we do it for the real ones that finish the video. So if you did make it this far in the show, I just want you to type Big Blue down in the comment section so I know who the real ones are.